Oh.
But then I also noticed that some company or distilleries, I guess, that only had like one bottle, or whatever at the like one offering. Now they have like multiple offerings like across their line now and stuff
cool.
from different places. So yeah.
Well, hopefully they keep that up. You just never know. So.
We're supplying their demand.
That's right. Yeah.
We started buying up whiskey, and they're like, "Man, we need to get some special whiskeys for these guys."
These guys are really they're drinking it up. We need to fix this. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Whisperers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Nick.
And tonight, we thought we would try something different that was recommended to us that is from Texas, and it's called Balcones. I've heard different things about it, never tried it, but I've wanted to. And then after reading up on it, I was like, hey, these guys know what they're doing. They've been around since 2008, so they're fairly new, but this sounds amazing. So
They specialize in corn.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of their shtick, if you will.
Yep.
They have a blue corn bottle. They have a mash one bourbon that's 100% corn.
Yep.
With no other grains, which usually you find it cut with at least something, malt or whatever.
Yep. They even have one called Brimstone that's actually roasted blue corn, I believe it is, and it's supposed to be pretty good. I'm a little nervous about that one just because of how I'm not a big fan of smoke, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a little bit smoky on the tasting notes, but you know what, it's caught my eye since we've been to Total Wine, just trying it out, so I'm like, ooh, I might have to try it out.
From what I've read, they offer very full-bodied spirits.
Yep. Yeah, and actually what's awesome about Balcones is the fact that they actually use copper stills for their distilling process. So copper still distillation is actually really old school, but probably the best way to go.
Also kind of fancy.
It is kind of fancy. Because those copper stills are not just a work of art, they're made for a specific purpose and to try to draw the best flavors out of the mash. And so I know these guys have tried to get different flavors out of the yeast that they use to kind of pair a lot of different things with that mash. So without further ado, I think we're going to crack this open, and then we'll let you know what we are tasting and what our opinions are. And like we've said before, these are just our opinions. If you've tried this and you didn't like it, totally okay. And we'll let you know honestly what we think of our tastings. So
And we may like something that you don't like, or
exactly,
or vice versa. So
this bottle actually looks pretty full-bodied as far as the color. It's really rich.
One of the words they use in the description of this particular release is viscous body, which tells me that it's definitely going to leave something in your mouth when it's gone.
Yep.
It smells very good. It smells like bourbon.
Ooh, that does smell real. That smells
and
really
it doesn't
good.
smell.
I'm getting some floral notes off of that right off the bottle, right off the top of it. That smells really good.
Definitely rich. It's
Yeah.
got a rich smell. I'm getting like Honeycrisp and caramel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm...
And the cool thing about this too is I found out that these guys actually use a fine grain oak barrel, and with the weather, when they when they're maturing their whiskey, with the weather variations, they really get a really different way of maturing their bourbons. So
Holds up in the glass quite well.
yeah, so that viscous part does seem to ring true. And I don't know if you can see that, but the color is beautiful. Nice.
Oh yeah, molasses-y dark caramel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can tell this is going to be a nice, rich, full-bodied bourbon.
Not as transparent as other ones that we've tried.
Yeah. But on the same token, that I just love that color.
But
That's pretty awesome.
But that just tells. I think the more transparent I've found, the more transparent it is, the less body it has to it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily less flavor, just less heaviness, I guess, to it.
I'm picking up some subtle apple and some chocolate in that.
Yeah, I'm getting a rich dark caramel and Honeycrisp.
Like a Honeycrisp apple, or just okay.
Yeah, like a dark caramel covered Honeycrisp apple. That's what I'm smelling right here. It smells super good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to try this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cheers.
Very smooth.
Wow.
A lot of flavor.
Has a little bit of
unique flavor.
Yeah. Actually, I'm picking up some floral notes on that one.
Yeah.
Like towards the middle part of your mouth, right on each side of the tongue, I'm getting some really nice floral notes. The finish is smooth and kind of hits you about right here with the finish, but you can feel the warmth. It's not harsh. There's a little bit of pepper I'm picking up at the very beginning of the tasting in the front, but wow.
It's got a nice, not peatiness, but smokiness to it. And I think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And I think that dark caramel, not almost like creme brulee, like a burnt sugar type. That's kind of what it reminds me of, and it's very, very, very tasty.
And that just goes to show you that the maybe what they did to the barrels when they charred them.
Mm.
They really try to get that char out of it. But I'm picking up some apple, some floral notes. Not to the point where you're like, oh gosh, the floral notes are just harsh. It's very subtle, but it's distinct. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm picking up some toffee and some chocolate.
It's funny because it's light
It is.
and airy, but also full-bodied and dark.
Yeah.
Like it's both, which I don't think I've quite had a bourbon that did that.
Yeah. No, this is
Very unique.
Yeah.
And very tasty.
this is really good. So 1 out of 10.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah, I do too. So 1 out of 10, if you were to rate this, what would you rate this? Is that a trick question, or? Because I already have a number in my mind. So.
I want to give it a 9, but
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with an 8.5.
Okay. And why
So-
why would you give it an 8.5?
Just because I want to give myself room in case there's something else that is like mind-blowingly good,
True.
and I have to have room for that. But if I was gonna have a gap somewhere, it'd be an 8.5 to a 9. It could go both ways, honestly. So it's very, very, very good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. After looking at the color and the taste profile and everything, I tend to lean more conservative. If you've followed our episodes, I'm more conservative with my numbers. I'm gonna have to give this an 8 because I know there's other things out there that are probably mind-blowingly awesome, and I want to give myself room just like you. But I'm kind of in that 8 to 8.5 range because this is stinking good, and I highly recommend this bourbon. So
Yeah, this got me intrigued to taste what their other offerings are.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, and especially they have a baby blue corn one, and then they have a brimstone. And the brimstone, like I said before, is one that's caught my eye since I saw it. I'm like, I don't know if it's just the flashy like brimstone package part of it or what, but I think it was more of the color because it's actually darker than this one a little bit, and it's fire roasted. So I'm like, ooh, so is it gonna have a little more smoke, or how is it compared to this?
It probably
one?
cuts the sweetness a little bit.
So,
I think this is almost like the perfect balance between
sweet.
sweet and smoky.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and it's such a unique flavor. It's kind of hard to pinpoint because you're picking up so many different things and so many different things come to mind to explain it. It's hard to kind of like pick keywords to describe and say, this is this is that.
Yeah.
But honestly, the simplest explanation for me for this is sweet and smoky at the same time.
Yeah, and we're talking
such
not
a
like
balance between those two.
you're drinking a campfire, like some of those scotches.
It's
and
not
stuff like that.
Yeah, when I say smoky, it's not peaty at all. Like it's not that kind of smoke.
It's almost like char smoke, but it's
Yeah.
like it's subtle, but it's there. and if that's
And it enhances the flavor.
It does.
For sure, yeah.
definitely an enjoyable whiskey, or excuse me, bourbon, because I don't want to shortchange Texas bourbon, because Texas bourbon's pretty good. So
Kentucky may need to watch out. If,
yeah.
Texas is coming out swinging right now.
Yeah, because this is actually this is pretty top notch in my book. So definitely give it a try. Like and subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment down below and let us know if you've tried this, or maybe there's something else that you haven't seen us try yet. We'd love to hear from you, and let us know what you think, because we definitely want to improve, and we also want to know if there's anything else that we haven't tried yet. So definitely drop us a comment below. I think I would definitely recommend this for sure. And for the price point, I think this was probably about $80 for the bottle with tax, because we're in Washington State.
Yeah.
So
if you minus the depending on where you live, it may be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely something worth giving it a whirl and trying for yourself. So with that, thanks for joining us on Whiskey Whispers, and have a good night and drink responsibly. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.